The last 6 months of my life have been utter hell. I would rather do anything than be with my husband right now. Extra long warning ahead. Love is fucking stupid, and I hate that I've let things get this bad. I feel like such an awful person. My husband always has depression. He always had anxiety. It never got to the point it has now. He has changed. I have changed. He used to enjoy things. Used to get excited over things. Used to be happy and attempt to help me be happy too. He works from home and has in a job he completely abhors and has been in for 2 years sinking his time into it. I tried to tell him it was a bad idea. He stopped taking meds against my warnings. In the last 6 months, the nightmares have been never ending. I debate even coming home from my job some nights because I just don't want to deal with the same shit over and over again. Nothing I have done has helped him. Nothing I can say or do will help him. He doesn't want to fix himself. I don't understand why. He's become despondent. He literally will do nothing but watch Twitch and get upset / have anxiety attacks because he is worried about his coworkers thinking he's inadequate. Nobody has said or done anything to make him feel this way. He has allowed his job to suck out his soul and won't try to find something he could fit into better. He has worked before and can do it without becoming a mindless zombie, but he's convinced every job will just be like this now. He compares himself to other coworkers, saying he's not as good as them at work. He has lost weight and doesn't eat much anymore. He states that he cannot feel things / cannot focus / cannot remember things. He will not reach out to anyone or try to talk to anyone else about his problems. I don't know how to say X. Is a constant excuse. He constantly clings to me. He will not give me space or time to myself that I need sometimes. My life has become a constant cycle of dealing with my own personal issues, his barely functioning body, and then dealing with the never-ending horrors of being a medical professional. I haven't slept well in weeks. I haven't felt any love towards him in a long time. I don't have the money to leave him or the time to look into anything because I'm always the one taking care of things beyond finances. I clean. I cook. I take care of the cats. I make sure the house isn't falling apart. I bear the emotional responsibilities while he feels sorry for himself. I've tried. I've tried being patient. I've tried being understanding. I've tried to talk to him. I've begged him to try harder. We were supposed to go to couples counseling and now we have to wait a fucking week because he didn't do the paperwork he was given a week earlier. Literally. The one thing I thought might kickstart a better year for us, and it's just gone. I know it will be there, but I'm so fucking embarrassed by him. I've had several meltdowns about the state of our relationship and how poorly it's gone. We used to be a team. I don't even know who he is anymore. He's not the person I married. I don't like what I've become either. A tired, sad sack with rage issues. I would have done everything I could for him. But it's not enough. It's never fucking enough. He has a psych doctor appointment on the 18th. It's going to take everything in my body not to leave or off myself between then and now. I had to give him an ultimatum too after literally trying everything in my arsenal. If he does not improve or show some consistent improvement, that I will be making drastic changes in mid-February. That means I will be locking myself to a room where he cannot access or leaving the house to find something to do that doesn't involve him hovering, clinging, whining, etc. I can't get things done I want to. I always feel on edge when he's around. I used to want him close and now I just feel like I can't even sleep next to him. I've had vivid fantasies about moving in with my dad in a richer part of our area and just dealing with my own stuff for a while. I'm so sad. I feel like I'm mourning someone who is alive. I feel like I see myself from a third-party perspective in a video game a lot. Like I'm not really there. I don't feel human anymore. I feel worthless. The 10 years I've spent with him just feel like a fucking waste. I had a bad episode like this last winter and I knew it was going to happen again because nothing had changed. I feel like his therapist, cook, mother and wife wrapped into one on top of being a nurse. I'm running out of masks to wear. He doesn't compliment me. We rarely have sex, and when we do, he finishes in seconds. It's not satisfying or sexy. He doesn't ask if I'm okay. He doesn't even buy me things. I got nothing for my birthday or Christmas. He promised to help me with my student loans, and I still am floundering with how I'm going to pay them back. He couldn't even be bothered to do paperwork for something that could help us. It's clear to me he just expects it. He doesn't want to work on himself or our relationship, and I don't know what I ever did to make him feel like this. I really, really hope we can fix this. I've lost a good friend over this because she's tired of listening to me cry about it. I've cried so much in the past few weeks, and so often, my eyes have started to consistently hurt. I know it was long, but thank you if you've read this and made it this far. I'm doing my best to try and get through this hellish nightmare I've been stuck inside. I need to try to set more healthy boundaries, and I don't know how anymore. My marriage is great, I love my spouse, and she loves me. This should be the happiest time in my life, but I feel trapped and doomed. This is probably going to be a disjointed mess of feelings and circumstances, so thank you in advance if you make it through this. Basically, I, 35M, am in a happy marriage, but every day I'm just terrified of it going downhill at some point in the future. There's no particular indication of that happening anytime soon. We love each other, and I know my commitment to our partnership is real and 100% trust that hers is too. I just can't shake the feeling that it won't last on her side. Not because I don't trust her so much as because I don't trust myself to be good enough to keep her commitment. And at the same time, I'm dependent on her because I'm an immigrant in a precarious situation on a spousal visa. Losing that and going home would likely mean the end of my life, literally. And trying to circumvent that would itself sabotage our relationship because it would mean going against the expectations my wife has of my career going forward. Yes, I'm insecure. My wife, and all her friends too, acts like I'm such a catch, but I know that I'm objectively not. All my life I've struggled with romance and sex, or more specifically with constant rejection. Physically I'm rather off-putting, and my personality is not some shining beacon of charisma either. I know I'm not a catch, and by my 30s I was fine with not being one, but now being one in my marriage makes me feel like an imposter. They treat me like I'm made of gold, but I'm still the same guy with a funky face, bad skin, constant weight struggles, weirdo personality, the list goes on. Sure, apart from the things I am, there are also the things I do, but it's not like I'm exceptional in that part either. Doing housework, trying to be a good listener, caring for my partner's needs, that's about it. When does the charm fade and the same issues that have pushed women away in the past start pushing my wife away too? It's not like she isn't aware of my issues either. She is, and they do bother her, and even now sometimes become a point of tension. For example, I'm dreadfully unathletic, and almost all of her attempts to teach me sports have ended in a fight because my lack of mastery just makes her really, really angry. Every time my unattractive parts show up and create tension, I just can't help recalling my parents' marriage. Dad had all the same physical issues as me, and by the time I was born, Mom already hated him, was utterly disgusted by him, and spared no effort letting him know about it every day. He drank himself to death. Barely made it to 60. What's ironic is that normally such thoughts wouldn't bother me too much. My go-to way of dealing with insecurities and rejection has always been to simply dust myself off and keep going. Getting hurt was fine because ultimately there would always be another day, and I would always have me to love me even if there's no one else at the moment. But now this escape is not working because the loss of this marriage realistically would likely lead to my actual death. It sounds stupid and dramatic, but it's true. As mentioned, I'm an immigrant in a first world country, not the US. My country of birth is basically a fascist dictatorship that has become much more oppressive and violent in the past couple of years. I'm in trouble with the law back. I'll skip the details, but will just say that I genuinely fear for my life should I ever be forced to go back. Before meeting my wife, I had been residing here on a work visa, but switched to a spousal one when we got married. When she realizes I'm not the catch that she sees me as now, a divorce would end my right to reside in this country. Moreover, just her moving out would have the same effect. Given my career issues, switching back to a work visa is also not realistic. Getting permanent residency is, but that would mean taking a professional path different from what my wife expects from me. And that brings us to the third part of this, my career. A combination of COVID and geopolitical bullshit basically wiped my career out. I used to make very good money as a freelancer, but since 2021 I have been bouncing between jobs and generally having a pretty bad time of it. So far I've been able to maintain a modestly good income, but I've fallen into a pattern where every employer willing to hire me ends up being shady and tries to get me to break the law, tries to scam me, or quickly goes under. I recently got hired in a completely new field and have been doing really good as far as getting the job done, but the company is again likely to go under soon and has already been late paying salary. My wife is pushing me to start my own business in this field this year, believing that success would bring increased income and stability. None of that is guaranteed, but given my age and spotty employment history, it's as good an option as any. Except for one thing, starting a business would likely dash my hopes of getting permanent residency here, which I need to feel safe as described above. The country we're in is reluctant to give permanent residency to people who are not full-time corporate employees or are a dependent of one. So, self-employed people don't usually get permanent residency. If I want to safely pursue that route, I would need to stay an employee for another 2 years before I can apply for permanent residency, and then another 6 to 12 months until it's hopefully approved. But remaining a corporate drone means no increase in income and likely a decrease even. My wife believes that I can and should be making more, and she's not wrong. We want kids soon and would need more to raise a child. I'm terrified that if I don't start my own business, or if I do and it doesn't work out, she will become disillusioned with me all that much faster. But then, if I do start a business and it takes off, I'd be permanently locked into depending on her to maintain my visa, and what if she falls out of love with me for some other reason? Later on? So, TLDR, despite being in a happy marriage, I just can't see anything but darkness going forward. All the choices I have seem to be leading towards a bad end, ultimately because I don't feel that I'm objectively good enough for my partner. Stay in corporate jobs until I can get permanent residency, betray my wife's expectations, causing a rift and possibly ruining our marriage while still being dependent on it for my visa. If wife decides to leave, I'm toast. Start a business and fail again, betray my wife's expectations, causing a rift and possibly ruining our marriage while still being dependent on it for my visa. If wife decides to leave, I'm toast. Start a business and succeed, fulfill my wife's expectations, but become permanently dependent on her for my visa. If wife decides to leave, I'm toast. Not really asking for advice, because there's just so much fine detail to this kind of stuff that someone on the outside couldn't possibly grasp at all, and also because there's not much that can be done here except living it out and seeing how it goes. It's just that as we get closer to the time when she expects me to start my own business, the fear and anxiety just get more and more oppressive, and I wanted to just lay all of it out somewhere. Get it off my chest. So here it is. Thank you if you read it this far.